Yeah, so it's a 3-cylinder, and I think, yeah, think about vibration and things like that. But right now it's like a first experience, and you're the first one outside of the company to be in the car at all.
Massive honor. Honestly, it's a massive honor. Thank you so much.
And it's of course early days of setting it up, but yeah, let's have a go.
All right.
And here we have what we call the TC1 Gemera.
This is a massive moment. Okay, so is this the first driving prototype?
This is the first driving prototype. So we started driving this last summer.
Right.
And we're still driving it, and we're building TC2 and TC3 as we speak, which will be a little bit more refined. So we can say this is the A sample, the first version of a driving Gemera, apart from the show car you have experienced. This is fundamentally very similar to the production car, but not fully refined yet.
So this has battery under.
It's battery under.
Engine in.
Yeah, engine in.
Free valve.
Free valve. Four-wheel drive, torque vectoring, but it's very much a test car. If you look inside, it's full of testing equipment, no kind of fancy interiors or nothing, but everything fundamentally is there and working. Yeah, standard racing seats.
As a moment, this is really tangible. This is like really happening here. You know, it's super cool.
Kind of close to the final thing, but of course working on refinements.
Sure.
So we've just installed our own EPAS steering rack, a new brake system. So it's kind of going through the motions. We're putting in next generation inverters and electrical motors that is closer to the production that we unveiled quite recently.
Those are now developed and constructed in-house, right?
Absolutely, and we will have a look at that later today. So it's all in-house developed to suit this perfectly.
David, Quark and Terrier.
Exactly. So the Terrier is actually not for this. The Terrier we put together in the press release to show what if you combine the 6-phase output David with two Quarks and 2 small planetary gears, you get the lightest, most compact, most powerful per weight and size electric drive unit we've ever seen. So of course we can use that for something fun, or we're also offering it potentially to others if they want to use it.
Yeah. Wow.
Software is massive in this car. I mean, everything is software based.
Right.
And we're kind of bringing it up together. So, for example, the engine is now running and it's propelling the car and it's charging the battery and it's running pretty smoothly. But what we will do quite soon is we're revving up to 4,500 now in the car. We're revving higher in the dyno, but we're just kind of stepping that up as we go to its 8,500 max RPM, and also kind of bringing in that emotion that we can kind of flare it quickly and rev it. And with this car, as you can disconnect the prop shaft to the front with the hydraulic clutches on the front drive unit, you can rev it freely as you have a lot of gears in a gearbox, or let's say as the neutral, because it kind of has a neutral, And when you use the paddles, we have different programs to suit different tastes of driving. So you can have like a downshift, which means you're like jumping the equivalent of 3-4 gears and hit 7,000-8,000 RPM, or you can just have this super smooth, and then you pull it, and depending on how hard or how long you pull it, you will shoot up to higher RPM and lock it there and go like you're in a lower gear.
Wow.
So it will have this super exciting, engaging, direct drive.
Wow.
Which is at least as fun or more fun than a gearbox.
So is it sharing gearbox principles from Regera?
It's sharing a lot of software and principles, yes. But so if we think it like this, you have a combustion engine with an electrical motor on the crankshaft. That's the same. It's a 3-cylinder instead of a V8. Then we have a direct drive unit. We have a torque converter with lockup. And then we have, instead of a differential, it's a locked bevel gear, and then we have hydraulic clutches on the output for torque vectoring, so that's different. And then there is no electrical motors on the output flanges like in the Gemera, but we put those in the rear instead to have 4-wheel drive and made them bigger.
Right.
So we have torque vectoring pure electric drive in the rear and combustion hybrid drive in the front.
Right, okay.
With torque vectoring function.
So its front-wheel drive is driven by the engine.
Yes, with the torque carbon fiber torque tube. So it seems a bit strange, right? But then if you think about it's equally strange having an engine in the front of the car with a torque tube driving the back. It's equally strange. We're just used to it.
Yes, you're
so
right.
We just flip that around.
Yeah.
It's basically like flipping around a 911 in a way with a four-wheel drive system, moving the engine a little bit. No, it's actually it's similar to a 911, but moving the engine a four-wheel drive a little bit further forward, more mid-engine.
Right. Okay.
And not connecting the rear wheels because they are electric.
Sure. So that sounds a complicated marriage of being able to get the electric sync with the engine sync.
But it's actually not an uncommon way. If you take many normal passenger cars, hybrid cars, they have one combustion engine axle with a gearbox, and then one electric axle with or without an electric motor on the combustion engine axle, and that's equally kind of separated.
Right.
So it's not uncommon from that perspective, but the whole layout, the twist and spin of things, and the direct drive, and the free valve and the 3-cylinder, and
all of that syncing
and the torque
together
vectoring.
Thing, right?
So that kind of expands the cube of exciting, complex software.
Yeah, you're really getting a good feel for the scale of these doors.
Yes.
I think one of my favorite features of the car is no B-pillar.
Right, right. Yeah, you can. We have a video on our YouTube channel where we have 2 persons which are over or just under 2 meters tall, just walking in to the car from both sides, not moving the front seats backwards or forwards while getting in all of them simultaneously. So that is the beauty of the no B-pillar and accessibility and space inside.
It's beautiful, isn't it?
Of course, if you have a very low garage,
has it got a sensor?
It has a sensor here. Right. So it would stop earlier and you would have to go around it.
Sure.
But most garages have this kind of height. It's not that tall. It's like 228 meters. So it's like under normal roof height.
Yes.
But it has that opportunity to stop early, and you can still easily get in and out even if it's in this angle. It's just not as simple.
Yeah.
But
wow.
Let's put it like this. It's much lower than a Tesla Model X gull wing door.
Sure. Yeah, of course. And are these air cores?
These are air core wheels, yeah. These are 21s in the front and 22s in the rear.
Bare carbon state, it even looks great.
Yeah, I mean, this is just straight from the tool. No fancy polishing or coating or nothing. It's just raw prototype carbon fiber. But at that early stage, you can still see it's decent quality.
That's amazing.
But it's not close to production.
Phenomenal. So, final output on this?
I would say the base version is about 1700.
Okay, right.
So
that's an interesting.
So we base version.
Slice of info. Okay. Okay.
So
base version.
It's for sure the most powerful 4-seater in the world.
Sure.
But we probably won't stop there with the.
Okay. Right.
Because with the new developments, we found a little bit extra. So.
Right. Okay. When you say a little bit extra, it's like full tilt.
Something like that. Right here is almost identical to the show car. But with homologation and everything, we rounded. This is on the production car, slightly softer just for homologation reasons.
Right.
There are some tweaks aerodynamically where we could find little improvements. The production car is a little bit more open here, small things like that. But it's you will not really notice a big difference. It's proportionally sized. Let's say we're moving some surfaces a few millimeters.
Right, okay.
So it will be very, very much the same thing.
Which is an amazing achievement in itself, because a lot of the times you'll see a pre-production or a prototype and then actually it hits the road and you're like, that wasn't what I signed up for,
exactly.
right? It's a different thing.
No, this will be definitely.
This is like this.
Yeah. And on the interior, the cup holders are bigger because we had like Red Bull cup holders.
Sure, yeah.
They've swollen out a little bit.
So 8 cup holders, heated and cooled.
Heated and cooled, and that was actually one engineer's project for almost 2 years with some help from others with software. And he had measurements and testing, so we can really almost boil the coffee and freeze your milkshake.
Really?
So it was a big undertaking.
Interesting feedback for you. One of our highest viewed and highest engaged posts of last year was me putting a drink into the into the Gemera
that is weird.
cup holder. It was like, I'm not joking, it was probably a 9-second clip just going like that, and it just went ape. I was like, all right, cool.
Whatever makes people tick.
But it seems...
But there's something fun about it.
Yeah, but your engineer who's worked on it for 2 years will be happy to know people love it.
Exactly. So on one side we have fuel. I think it's here this is not going to be in this material later, but and there will be some cover here.
Yes.
And on the other side we have charging.
Yeah.
Not sure if I can.
And is this using the 800 volt?
Yeah, 800
architecture?
volt. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. Perks of the 800 volt isn't just the charging. You can make the fundamental system.
Oh yeah,
lighter,
all the
right?
wires are lighter,
Much lighter.
thinner. Basically, the higher voltage you have, the thinner cable you can have with the same amount of, let's say, power. Meaning, you can have the amperage. If you have the same amperage as 400, 800, basically you have double the power. So,
Right.
and amperage is what dictates the gauge of the of the cable.
Okay.
Or circuit boards or whatever. Yeah.
Have you had to upgrade the hinges
Yeah.
for the
It's a little bit
larger
beefier.
door? Looks great.
Yeah,
It's like something from Transformers.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, the center of gravity of this car is super low, but since we don't have a free kind of, it has a frame around here.
Right.
And the reason why we have this kind of more traditional old school sports car window is because this glass curves so much, so you could not roll it down and it would be too big.
Right.
So we're doing it this way. I kind of like it as well. It's just
cool.
kind of a hark back to old cool Countaches and McLaren F1s and so on.
Yes.
But it's basically because it's too much roll here, which we need for aero and the shape of the window. But that also means that if you would end up on the roof, it's not enough to crack the glass.
Right.
I mean, you could, and then you would have to rip this out. It would be a little bit of a headache if you want to open the door.
Sure.
So we're also building in explosives into the hinge.
Okay.
So, and then you have these
Literal blast doors then.
Yeah. So you have these emergency openers. Normally, you just press the button. Everything is robotized with auto skin.
Right.
But if you're upside down, and first of all, you can always use that normally as well if you want to. But if you're upside down when you pull that, there's also a little explosive unit going off in the hinge, so the door just falls to the side.
Door falls off. I love how he throws in casual things like, normally it's robotized with auto skin.
Right. And this is a prototype steering wheel now. It's kind of very similar to what we have in the Jesko. And it will be fairly similar to have some kind of commonality.
Yes.
Not that we're so good at commonality, but we're trying a little bit.
Sure. And that will run the screen which maintains its horizon.
Yeah. So if you press that little round button in the roof there, in the center of that thing.
That one?
Yeah.
Yep.
I think it will light up a little bit more. Yeah.
Wow, that is... Look at that. That's so cool.
And this is an early version. We have a higher processor speed now in production, which smooths it out even more, and it's very responsive and oily, which is important for the feel. So yeah, first experience. Of course, this is a raw, naked, open, rough prototype, and we've only tuned it to kind of drive fairly smoothly yet, and we're starting to get into the more exciting kind of flaring of engine stuff and so on. But right now it's like a first experience, and you're the first one outside of the company to be in the car at all.
Massive honor. Honestly, it's a massive honor. Thank you so much.
Okay, let's have a go.
Feeling of what it's going to be about, you know? It's so spacious as well.
Yeah, it's like a spaceship. The view out and the round windows and you don't even think about you have someone behind you.
No. What a thing. Incredible.
And now it's of course very open and we need to fine tune everything, but you don't really feel any major vibration or anything from the engine of the car. It's very, very smooth.
It has a really interesting tone to it, right? It's its own sound.
Yes, and we can fine-tune this in many, many ways.
Sure.
Depending on how we open the valves, and with the exhaust flaps and the titanium exhaust. But it's all going to be true sounds. It's not going to be like any speaker sounds or anything.
Sure.
So that's very important to us.
Yeah. Wow.
But now there's a bit of rattling panels.
Sure,
and stuff
But I mean, you know, even at this stage, it's remarkable, right?
Yeah, I think it's definitely getting there.
Yeah.
And there's so much new technology coming together at once, so it's a lot of coordination. But I'm very, very excited, especially since this engine can be flared compared to the drivelines. We can choose RPM exactly for our needs and the mood of the driver and the settings.
Right.
So. it's like 4,000
4,000.
and now the response is not as fast as it will be. It will be lightning fast like the Jesko. So yeah, it's exciting.
It's pretty cool, huh? What a thing. But just being in it as a platform is equally as fascinating,
right?
You know, because you wonder what it's like having seen so much of it static.
Exactly.
Yeah, to feel this platform move is awesome.
It's I've driven it fairly hard on the airfield.
Yes.
And the stiffness of the monocoque is just amazing. I mean, it's over 65,000 Newton meters from axle to axle.
Crikey.
So
it's like LMP stuff in a four-seater.
and it just feels so much smaller. I mean, the wheelbase is 3 meters.
Yes.
But it just gives this very agile, compact feel anyway.
Actually, you're right. It doesn't feel as big as I thought it would, because it looks a large car, but it's actually all right, isn't it?
Exactly.
What a thing.
Yeah, a little flavor.
I think it's a great flavor. Oh man, it's genuinely exciting. You know, so cool. There just isn't anything like it.
No,
you know?
no,
no experience like it.
It's a thing of its own.
I mean, you got like genuine space back there. It's quite incredible.
Yeah. All you make it need, and Christian sits very far back.
Yeah, I would actually like to always move forward a little bit.
Right.
So for me, it would be probably better there.
Yeah.
And then you have like almost limousine.
And these seats are way thicker than the real seats are.
Sure.
Even though they're thin, but they are still thicker.
Well, you've got like saloon space back there, you know.
And then the belts are inside the seat
Sure,
monocoques,
in the seat, yeah.
So there's nothing in the way.
The visibility of not having a B pillar is quite interesting. Just not having it there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I actually enjoy sitting in the back of the car more than the front, because in the front, completely different thing than the front.
It's funny, each time I've seen the show car, I get in the back first. That's the first thing I do. Yeah. What a thing.
A first little flavor.
Thank you so much for that. That was awesome. So this is it. This is effectively where future Gemera, or in fact all Gemera, will get built. I think if I head in here, you'll get an idea of the scale of it. So 10,000 square meters. This is what's known as an accordion design. It's quite reminiscent actually of traditional Swedish factory layouts, hence it looks like a kind of accordion, which means it can be expandable in design in future. But in here it's not just production, there's going to be a cinema for product launches, gym area, I think marketing's moving here. But the exciting bit is that this is the most progress that we've seen since Gemera launched. We've seen it driving, we've seen the real prototype happening, and now we're seeing where it's being built. And honestly, maybe through the camera it just looks like a factory being built, but I really believe we're going to look back on this moment. It's quite a historical time, because the rest of the world, no one's really building new car factories right now. I believe there hasn't been a new car factory built in Sweden for, I think, over 50 years. So this is really something to celebrate, that, you know, in there's going to be pioneering tech, hybrid units, EV units, and the world's first 4-seater megacar. So really it's a symbol, isn't it? It's a symbol of it being progress. Speaking of symbolic, one of the most commented on topics since Gemera launched, certainly on our channel, was, will it still have a ghost symbol on the car? Well, the good news is this is being built on the old jet flight lines, which is effectively where the jets used to park. But because it's being built on this site, literally where the jets park, that has warranted every future Koenigsegg that comes out of that building there will still have the ghost symbol representing the Ghost Squadron on the car, which in itself is very special indeed. So on that note, questions and comments below. We're just getting warmed up. As always, thanks so much for watching. We shall see you next time. Ciao.